You're watching Fantasy Now Plus.
What is up, guys? Welcome in to Fantasy Now Plus. It's playoff time, and Playoff Best Ball is just about wrapped up on Underdog. As you can see, there is only the Mitten 3 left, and that's what we're going to be drafting today. Before first game kicks off in, I want to say 3 hours from now. So that's what we're going to be doing, drafting some Playoff Best Ball teams on Underdog. As always, if you want to get in on the action on Underdog and you have not yet, please use the promo code as seen at the top of the screen, FN Plus. When you play $5, you will get $75 in bonus funds. That can be used on pick'ems, that can be used on these Playoff Best Ball drafts. Believe it or not, 2026 regular season Best Ball is maybe less than a month away. It usually comes out, I want to say, conference championships. So that's already right around the corner. So if you have not signed up already, definitely do so. And without further ado, I think we can get right into it. If you have any questions, any comments, definitely leave them in the chat. Happy to talk through everything as we go along. So, if you have playoff predictions, drop those in the chat as well. Who do you think's making the Super Bowl? Who do you think is winning the Super Bowl? I personally, I kind of believe in the Jaguars a lot, and I don't really know why. I don't think there's like a perfect or strong reason that I believe in them, but I just do. I think their offense is peaking at the right time. Trevor Lawrence finally looks like the quarterback that we all thought he would be. And their offense is just firing on all cylinders. Their defense is solid to good. And everything's just kind of up in the air at this point. So I'm personally leaning towards the Jags in the AFC. The NFC, I want to say the Eagles. I really do. But we're going to take Puka here at the 101. It's my first 101 out of all playoff best ball drafts, by the way, which is kind of wild. But yeah, I believe in the Eagles to some extent, but I also think that they are very live to just be ridiculously disappointing, kind of like 2023 was, where coming off a Super Bowl high, everything just kind of crashed back down to earth and they were embarrassed in the playoffs. I think San Francisco could do that to them pretty easily, but I also think they could crush San Francisco. It's kind of a toss-up for me in that game, but I also think the Rams are pretty solid picks. You know, they great offense, good coach, good defense, really just going to come down to whether they execute well. We'll see how they match up against whoever they face in round 2, just frankly kind of assuming that they beat Carolina in round 1, which is kind of silly because obviously Carolina beat them in the regular season, but this isn't the regular season. I have never seen Christian McCaffrey fall to the second round. That's kind of wild. I sincerely, yeah. If he fell back to me, I would have fallen out of my chair, but we're probably going to take Stafford stacked with Puka. And then we kind of have to figure out what else we want to do. Definitely taking Stafford. Do we go Patriots as a possible like team, or do we go Jags like I was just talking about? I think let's go Jags. So we'll go Stafford and ETN. Feels like a good start. Obviously, would have loved for Kyron or Devontae to fall back. They did not in this draft. They went to the 6 hole, but that's okay. Um, you know, even if you are playing a Rams Super Bowl, you can still get pretty easily to 4 Rams players that you feel okay about. You can take Blake Corum later, and you can kind of just shoot your shot on one of the 18 and a half tight ends that the Rams use. I'm not really sure who I prefer between Parkinson and Higbee. Terrence Ferguson has kind of been removed from the equation, just has a hamstring injury, sounds relatively serious. So we'll see how that goes. I'm going to hope that Jags come back. We'll see if they actually do. But either way, Blake Corum is relatively high in ADP here. I'm going to push him. If he gets to the 6 hole, then so be it. Rams can just be advanced pieces at that point, and we can play through a different team for the Super Bowl. That is totally fine. Kind of just depends on what the room does here. So we've had Sutton go. Interested to see. So he's got a Giga Eagles stat going. So in theory, he's taking Goddard, but we'll see if he does. He does. So we do get the Jaguars. I'm going to go ahead, take Jacoby, take Lawrence. Feel good about that. We're one piece away from being able to roster a Rams-Jaguars Super Bowl. Just need a flex. But we can kind of play it either direction. It can either be we take 4 Rams and then just have a couple AFC teams that we have pieces of. We can go all in on Jags and use the Rams as advanced pieces. Plenty of options here. Again, if you're new to Playoff Best Ball, the goal is to get a team to the finals of this contest, which is the Super Bowl. So basically, you are trying to predict the Super Bowl to some extent without necessarily, drafting 10 players from that, because you still need to win out of your pod. You still need to actually produce fantasy points with your team. So that's something that you need to focus on. And it's definitely a difficult balance. To build an ideal team, you usually end up needing a lot of people to kind of stay in their lane. Like, you're obviously not entitled to players like, Blake Corum went. If someone takes a Jags player unstacked, yeah, he took Parker Washington. Like, that's not terrible. Like, that's not a fireable offense or anything. But we're going to take Brian Thomas Jr. here. And then, man, running back is just gross already. I'm going to take Omari and Hampton. I know he's questionable, but at the end of the day, really looking for someone to be able to score running back points for you on this team. I've got 4 Jags at this point. I'm kind of building out a Jags Super Bowl. Rams is not really as likely. You can still draft pieces for them, but you definitely want to pivot and just kind of stick with Jacksonville at this point. There's still Jacksonville pieces that are totally fine. Brenton Strange, totally fine. Bashal Tootin is far-fetched, but certainly not impossible. And now at this point, I need 1 Jag. It's probably going to be strange unless someone takes him at random, but at this point, we're just looking for players that can score points. So I'm looking at Kyle Monangai. I'm looking at Kenneth Gainwell. I'm looking at Jalen Warren. I'm looking at Rico Dowdle. At wide receiver, we're looking at Christian Watson, Luther Burden, Colston Loveland, DK Metcalf, QJ, Rome, Tet. Yeah, you're just looking for pieces to score points, get you to round 2. Most teams are dead by round 2. Like, to be honest with you, there's going to be plenty of teams who didn't draft optimally for the Super Bowl. They just drafted the best player by ADP. They might advance because, ADP is relatively predictive. So we're going to go strange here and just finish up that Jags. And then running back, I like Kyle Monangai. I think he has plenty of touchdown equity. I think he's a totally fine pick. And then we will get to the very last pick of the draft, and we'll kind of decide what we want to do there. Might look at pass catcher. Running backs, obviously a little thin, but you're mostly betting that ETN just is scoring some receiving touchdowns all the way. You get some help from Hampton and Monangai, at least in round 1. Hopefully one of them gets to round 2. Monangai is a decent chance to get to round 2, but obviously not for sure. Lots of advanced piece receivers going, which is fine. But yeah, I think we want a receiver here. Don't want to have to fully rely on only Jags for the entire time. You're hoping that the Rams also make the Super Bowl with this team, but if they don't, you're hoping they can at least go conference championship, get you almost all of the way there. It's usually the hope with Puka teams, unless you can get Stafford and another Ram back, either Kyron or Devontae, but didn't happen in this draft, which is totally fine. I would love Tet here personally, even though honestly, I would like Luther Burden the most, but I kind of doubt he gets to me. We'll see. We had a team that went 3 quarterbacks in the draft, which is not at all what I would do. You can only start one of them. And if you're drafting to make the Super Bowl, then I don't really know why you would go 3 quarterbacks. I've honestly barely been going 2. The only reason I went 2 is because, I wanted Stafford with Puka, but I also figured it would be somewhat hard to build out a full Rams Super Bowl without getting Stafford plus Kyron or Adams. So Tet goes. We'll see what Giant Blues does here. Probably should grab a running back, but we shall see. Would love Luther Burden if he gets to me. If he doesn't, Pearsall's kind of injured. Okay. So I'm going to get Luther Burden. That feels great. And that's the first draft done. Definitely some interesting teams here. You got a Giga Eagles stack, only has Barkley and Ramondre at running back, and then just peppered it with good upside wide receivers. You've got a 2-3-5, kind of went advance rate type players. Looks like they kind of built a Seattle Super Bowl, but not overly. They have three Seattle pieces. And yeah, that's kind of it. Like, they can't even make a Super Bowl with a full starting lineup. Best they could do is 4, I think, because they only took Nico in the AFC and everyone else is an NFC player. So that team, unfortunately, is also kind of dead. It might advance. It might get your money back, but it's not going to win tons of money. Again, 3 quarterbacks. Just kind of a weird decision, especially taking May in first. Like, going Bo Nix is a good idea. Like, he could have gone full Broncos Super Bowl here, could have had May and McCaffrey for advanced rate, but then just takes a triple Houston stack as well for no particular reason. So very bizarre. But that is our first draft, and I think we are ready to bring on a guest and my Get Tilted co-host, Mr. Brian Rockwood. Brian, how are you?
I'm so good. How are you doing? I
I
came
am,
just in time to see the first draft.
yeah. I'm shocked that this hasn't filled, honestly, but I'm ready to draft more of them. There's still like 20,000, 18,000 entries left, so I was expecting this thing to be filled, but I'm not going to complain. It's more shots for us, and I'm excited for playoff football, excited for regular season best ball just around the corner. The season never really stops with best ball is kind of my favorite part about it. It's just drafting over and over again, and excited to get into it.
Yeah, I have thoroughly gone off the wagon and have drafted a ton of teams. And I'm mad because for the Little Mitten, I was kind of planning on maxing that out, and I was too slow.
It's crazy. And anything under $5 on Underdog fills within like a week at most. And for time box contests, yeah, I think it lasted like 2 days or 3 days or something like that. It's insanity.
What stack did you go with on round one here?
Started with Puka and Stafford, but didn't get Kyron or Adams, so kind of pivoted to a Jaguars Super Bowl in the end. And they're just going to use some Rams advanced pieces.
That has by far been one of the teams I like drafting the most.
Yeah.
Because I feel like how that game script goes between the Bills and the Jags is it's going to be a lot of points. And even if the Jags don't make it to the Super Bowl, like it feels like it's almost, I mean, I don't want to jinx it, but it feels like it's almost a certainty that you advance because of the Jags players.
Yeah.
And then you hope the other half of your draft gets there to get to like the championships.
Yep. Yeah. Especially because, even with ETN's ADP climbing quite a lot, it's still like in the 12. Like you can get it at the 1-2 turn, 2-3 turn. So I love playing Jags. I really like playing Broncos, but for some reason I just keep getting like my stacks broken up by people. So that's been a little frustrating. But again, as I was saying, I'm not entitled to an entire team just because I draft one player. This is an unfun spot. You've got
2 is a bummer.
Yeah. I see a lot of people bring Saquon up here or Josh Allen up. Any preferences?
To me, it's kind of about exposure. I think the Eagles are really strong in round one. So like going Saquon is to me kind of chalky here. Jason puts us in such a weird spot that you can't. My new thought process is you kind of can't build a Seahawks stack. I don't think you can really build a Seahawks Super Bowl based on like just where the pieces go in the draft.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, I've only done like 15 drafts. So like, it sounds weird to say 15 is a small sample size, but it really is when you consider like people are maxing out at like 200 entries or something.
Yeah.
So
it's 150 per. There's been 3 mittens. There are absolutely people that max the Gauntlet at $25 per for another 150. Like there's people with 800 plus playoff best ball drafts. Like people have that type of money and people love drafting that much. So
yeah. And so it's silly to say I feel confident, after that many drafts, but just based on ADP and then also just like the inconsistency of Sam Darnold, it feels bad.
Yeah.
That's okay. Wait.
CMC falling again.
If he comes back, this is just
also someone took AJ Brown at 5 for some reason.
After What in the world?
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
I mean, an Eagles stack is certainly not dead without AJ Brown. It could just be Devonta the whole way, but I'm curious what happens here.
Yeah. And
Okay.
for this, if it continues to be wacky, I don't mind pivoting off the Eagles because Saquon does just feel fine. But yeah, it looks like if we can get Jalen here,
Yeah.
we're just back on it.
We do also have both Patriots besides May. Could do Henderson Diggs, go like a weird, unique route, but I'm also fine just stacking Eagles if we want to play it that way.
Yeah, that's. I thought to you, and rather a question to you, when you miss on a quarterback. So with this exact situation kind of staring you down, and you are bullish on that team, like how does it turn you off in terms of picking that stack still if you don't have Drake May?
I don't think so. If you feel comfortable about the options on the other side, it's more so for the NFC that I'll do that. So like if we didn't get Jalen Hurts, but we only got Saquon, Brown, and Devonta for some reason, like I'd feel much more comfortable just having like an AFC team on the other side that I feel better about just having opposite of them. Could be Texans, could be Broncos, could be Jaguars, like totally fine with that. But I think on the doing it with the Patriots feels thin. I think the only way you could conceivably do it is the Puka Stafford start. And then if Trevion's there, then like building out through Trevion, Ramondre, Hunter Henry. Diggs probably doesn't come back, but you can hope he comes back. He probably doesn't because he has to go through the May draft at least twice. So yeah, I think it's less fun to me if I'm doing that with an NFC quarterback, but it feels a lot easier to do that. Or no, it's better for an NFC team to do it without the quarterback. Hard to do it with an AFC team without the quarterback because the NFC feels so like, for one, most of the quarterbacks in the NFC don't score fantasy points. Like Sam Darnold, no thanks. Bryce Young, not going to make it. Even if he does, no thanks. Like Caleb Williams, very 50-50. Jordan Love, very 50-50. You know, it's basically Stafford, Hurts, and that's kind of it. And like Purdy, but one of Purdy or Hurts doesn't make it past round one. So
right. And in regards to Purdy, he'll then also, I believe, if all things stay the same, then they have to get the Seahawks in the next round.
Yeah.
And that's awful. That feels bad.
Yep. We should be uncontested for Goddard. That would get us to 4 Eagles. We could then play it 3-3, both of them AFC teams, if we could make that work. I'd be interested in trying to do the Broncos in that. Or we could also do Jags. Still have Lawrence on the board. Got most of his pass catchers. Actually, you don't have most of his pass catchers. They're all just kind of going off the board. But you can do it with Chargers.
Go to.
Yeah, you can do it. I think Parker's there.
Okay.
Yeah, but you can do it with Chargers. You can do it with Texans. You can do it with Broncos. Where you don't think you can field 5 Eagles because then you have to draft Jahan Dotson or Tank Bigsby, which feels gross. But if you do 4 and then you just take a couple guesses on the AFC team and see if you can get that matchup.
Yeah, that was something I've run into with a few teams. I feel like the Eagles, the Bills, who else was it? Kind of the Seahawks, but not really. But you find that you have 4 pieces, and then that last piece just is like pure dart throw, has to catch a 60-yard bomb, has to break off like a random screen pass type of touchdown to be, relevant. So then you kind of stuck at 4 and trying to figure out the other half of that game. And I guess that's part of the fun, right?
Yeah. It's part of the mystery. Could also go like Buffalo pieces. Obviously you don't have Cook or Allen, but if you have the core of Eagles and then some tertiary Buffalo, like that's a perfectly viable Super Bowl as well.
Like I'd be tempted to start looking at like Houston pieces, but we lose Nico, and that's like kind of the main pillar I want if I want to have anything Houston related.
Yeah. But most of the pillars are gone at this point, especially in the AFC. George Kittle is still sitting there.
If he's still there, wait, oh, he is right here.
Yeah.
I think you just do anyway. Like I don't know. That feels bad, but at least it's just someone who can spike for you, and it kind of breaks up our 3-3 AFC roster. But like, maybe I was listening to a different pod, or maybe we did it on this one. But falling pieces end up being super relevant. So like,
yep,
it's so much value to not, or it's like it's too much value to pass up.
Yeah, and this can also just be Kittle's an advanced piece. You take one other probably running back NFC advanced piece, and then you just go 2-2 between AFC. So you take 2 Broncos and 2 Texans or whatever it may end up being, and you just see if one of those 2 can pair with your 4 Eagles to get you there.
God, I wish the Eagles and the 49ers didn't play.
I know.
It makes so much, like so many rosters would be so much better.
Yeah. I'm just going to start starring all AFC pieces at this point.
All right, I'm gonna offer a really gross AFC piece.
Okay.
And that is the Pittsburgh Steelers. DK, Kenny G.
Yeah, it's viable. I think I honestly like Warren more than Kenny G, simply because more people are into Kenny G, and that feels bad. Of like, this guy's only had one good year ever, and it's this year, and Jaylen Warren is like actually provably good at football. Really hope we get Marks here. That would be nice.
That would be huge.
Let's see.
I know. I want to believe in the Niners so bad, but that defense is really bad. Did they get Fred Warner back though, right?
If they win, I think.
Oh,
I think it's next week or maybe even conference championship. We do get Marks. Sweet. I'm going to smash the button on that. So we definitely want... where are they? They are very far down here. Higgins.
Yeah.
Schultz. I think Jalen Noel is
almost undrafted.
Yeah. Somewhere.
Eagles going to smoke the Niners 34-10. That's, I mean, John, I'm sorry, but if that happens, that's great for our roster right now.
Yeah.
Because they are, I hope that those points go to Saquon and Devonta.
Yep. So we could grab Hampton if we wanted, because we already have one piece of Houston. We could go a Steeler running back. What do you want to do?
I think, how much I'm going to wait 10 seconds. I almost want to go towards the Steelers. I think going Jaylen Warren here, like go with your gut, pick someone that is going to be a difference in your roster helps here. And we're already kind of taking shots because we missed a lot of the really exciting AFC pieces.
Yeah.
So to me, like putting the Steelers on our list of teams that we can root for feels good. And this, I mean, I guess it's kind of at odds with our Woody Marks pick, but we're kind of guaranteeing we're getting something out of that matchup.
Yeah. Probably should have gone Metcalf first, thinking about ADP, but we'll see.
I think it's fine. I don't know how many people are really into the Steelers as a team that could potentially even put up points against the Texans.
Yeah. I'm just, usually when you get down to this range, you're looking at receivers and it's like gross. Ooh, DK.
Yeah.
And so, especially Austin here, I'm wondering if he might just pull the Metcalf trigger, which would be unfortunate because there are definitely not any other Steelers that you want to draft.
Don't do Calvin Austin like that, man. Come on.
I mean, you could also, it'd be weird, but you could just also go Gainwell and say that both of them get there.
Yeah, I've been really tempted to go 2-4-4 because sometimes the running backs are really enticing as pieces that can kind of get there.
Yeah.
It just feels worse when if it's both in the same division, or like both in the same conference, you are kind of not making a correct bet.
I'm not seeing many other advanced piece type players really, like Tet, I guess. Basically only Tet.
Like QJ, I mean, do we have them both queued up? Just Lad?
Well, just Lad. I would rather take Lad over QJ. Do you want to take Tet? It's another possible loss, but it's definitely going to be points.
I would take Tet. I would also take a glance at Brenton Strange if we like some of the Jaguars games. I think Tet is probably the most. Yeah.
Let's do Strange because we already are eliminating 1 to 2 of our players with a Houston Steelers stack. So Strange is obviously less projection, but it's also kind of like, if the Jaguars win, at least we have another piece playing in round 2, and like the Panthers are almost certainly not getting to round 2, so Tet's just kind of a one and done.
Yeah, and in terms of if we're gonna one and done a team like George Kittle, like at least George Kittle will probably find the end zone and will be a relevant advanced piece, whereas Tet is been quiet, which is a bummer because I really thought he was going to be better against that Bucks defense.
Yep.
So we got our 4 Eagles. We have Woody as an AFC piece, Jalen Warren as an AFC piece, and then DK, Brent Strange, and Kittle. So we got one last one.
Yep. And then this should be a Texan to pair with Woody Marks.
Do we have just one QB?
Yeah, I figure with Hurts, kind of just, if they're making the Super Bowl, he's probably doing something.
Fair enough. Do you want to pick Stroud or just?
Nah.
That's fair.
The odds that Stroud even hits the lineup over Hurts anyways is already kind of low. It would have to be in week 1, but also Hurts has like the best matchup in the playoffs in week 1. So I would rather just lean into that. Do we want Higgins? Do you want Schultz? I think Noel's kind of a too galaxy brained.
I would probably go Higgins just because he might have a higher ceiling than Schultz. I think we have a lot of good floor guys between Goddard, Smith, and I guess Kittle's a floor. Whereas Higgins can do our 70-yard touchdown, and he's generally a touchdown target, a red zone target.
We went tight end heavy at receiver, but 3 and 3 really. 3 receivers, 3 tight ends. I think that's good. So final team: Jalen Hurts at quarterback, Saquon, Woody Marks, Jalen Warren at running back. And then at the wide receiver / tight end position, you've got Devonta Smith, Dallas Goedert, George Kittle, very far past ADP, DK Metcalf, Brenton Strange, and Jaden Higgins.
Man, there's just something about that Houston game that feels like it's actually just a 50-50. I forget what the line is. It might be like 1.5. It might actually just be a coin flip.
I think it is. Like, Houston should win, but they're also the type of team to play gross enough that Pittsburgh stays in it and could just win on accident. So, yeah, it's a game that no one's looking forward to.
Yes.
But I don't know.
3-point spread.
Yes.
The Texans are 3-point favorites despite Steelers being at home. The over-under is 38.5.
Just gross. Like, yes, it's Aaron Rodgers, but it's 41-year-old Aaron Rodgers against that defensive unit. Like, he does at least have Metcalf back, because this would be horrific if he was still suspended. But, it's Metcalf against Stingley. Like, that doesn't feel great. You're now hoping for one of the 14 and a half tight ends on Pittsburgh to do something. It can't even be Darnell Washington. It has to be Freiermuth or Jonnu or Calvin Austin or Marquez Valdez-Scantling. Like, it just feels unlikely. But also Houston just plays so gross, and just CJ Stroud has regressed so much from his rookie season, and that offensive line is so bad, and their running game is awful. Like, Woody Marks is not that good at the role that they have him playing. Like, he's a receiving back that you put in space, and they're having him run between the tackles every play and not throwing him the ball. And they have a bunch of exciting young receivers that they don't throw to. They only target Dalton Schultz and sometimes Nico.
It's just, it doesn't make sense because they have won 9 straight games despite this, despite all the offensive red flags. I think, yeah. And this is why part of me thinks a Houston like Seahawks Super Bowl is very viable.
Yep.
Because defenses like is everything, especially at this point of the season. And like the Broncos Texans game to get there is going to be an absolute like bloodbath. Like that might be like a 10-7 game.
3-0. Like, well, and that's what's hard is like I can very, very conceivably see a Seahawks Broncos Super Bowl as both 1 seeds. They're defense first, like no nonsense types of teams that as long as their quarterbacks don't make mistakes are probably going to win any game. The problem is that the Seahawks have one good fantasy play and the Broncos have like half, and you don't know which one it is any game. It's just a collection of who knows. So like building that team out in like these playoff drafts is very unfun, because it's like you have to basically aim for the top 5 players between those 2 teams and then just get 5 advanced pieces around them. But like you still have to take them all kind of high, so you can't even get that great of an advanced piece.
And I think the worst part about the Broncos is clicking Pat Bryant's name. Because you gotta, if he's healthy, you still gotta go grab him if you're feeling the Broncos stack is the correct way. And the same thing goes on the Seahawks side. You have to go pick up AJ Barner.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God.
Please,
Please
like,
make it the Super Bowl.
It's also messy for the Broncos, especially because apparently J.K. Dobbins is coming back. We get the 2-hole again. That is so unfortunate.
It's all right, easy. But we can be a little different this time around too.
I mean, we could just aim for this. You say it's a Seahawks Broncos Super Bowl for sure. You take JSN at 2. You can get a good advanced piece at 7, and then probably take RJ Harvey at, honestly, you could probably push Harvey. Let me look at ADP here.
Yeah, let's do it. So like to me, if we're gonna do something like this, I think would you go 3-3 and then 4, or even less than that?
You can't go 3-3 since they're both 1 seeds, because you wouldn't even get a starting roster.
You're right. That's right.
You have to go 5. So the way I would build it would be JSN and one of Walker or Sharps is the 2 Seahawks, and then Nix, Harvey, and Sutton is the 3 Broncos. Probably not Walker, because Walker goes way too high comparatively to Sharps when they're basically just the same player. We're on the clock. We'll take JSN. Let's see what falls. Because the next player in this iteration is RJ Harvey at ADP of 21. Sutton for 24. You've got Walker that's technically floating around down there. But then like Bo Nix and Charbonnet are all the way down here in the 30s. You know, you can probably get decent fillable positions in
It's kind
between.
of crazy that there's
Yeah.
no other viable receiving option on the Seahawks to draft.
Like, I don't fully throw up if I click Shaheed, but I also am just like, this is so thin to get there. Like, he gets a bomb touchdown, which is unlikely in the playoffs, but it's at least within the skill set to happen.
It's the Chimbre DK line of thinking. Can you get a punt return touchdown?
Yeah, more or less, yeah. So yeah, I think here we just take two good advanced pieces. Kind of want to take Nico because I like ETN and Henderson, and I feel it's unlikely that this 6 hole takes both.
I'll say, what did they? I agree with you. I would take Nico here. I'm curious to see what they took earlier. I don't know what the stack is trying to.
They took Puka. So
okay. So they're taking Stafford and
yeah, Stafford and probably one of them, but we'll just take whichever one falls.
Take Hendo. Take Henderson. I think ETN is probably a little safer.
Yeah, but I think Henderson also has more upside, which is interesting. Like, Jacksonville's just going to be... No, that's fine.
All right, we'll take the upside guy.
Like, Jacksonville is just going to be, if they win against the Bills, their next matchup is probably the Patriots, which will be another shootout. And then they probably face the Broncos. So, like, 2 out of 3 weeks, they just have basically the best matchup of any playoff team.
Yeah, I was looking at both 3 seeds. It's really nice if you lean heavily into Eagles or Jags because of that exact reason.
Yeah.
And it's just sucks that they are more for the Eagles that all of their ADP is so high. It's like getting the stack is both tough if you're in like the 1-2 spot, but then towards the end of the draft, it's pretty easy to lock in Saquon, AJ Brown.
Yep. So we do lose Harvey.
What? Why? Come on. All right, that's okay.
Yeah.
We'll just take Julian McLaughlin.
We can also just pivot to just a pure Seahawks Super Bowl. Like, we have 2 good AFC pieces already. If we can't, like, if Sutton goes, obviously you just bail.
Yep.
Like, I'm also fine just taking Walker and Sutton here and just saying that no Broncos running back is what you need. Just take 2 Broncos pass catchers. It's Bo Nix all the way. Harvey has struggles for most of the playoffs. J.K. Dobbins comes back. They vulture each other. It's not the craziest thing in the world. Would you go Sutton first over Walker since Sharps is still floating around later?
I would. If we still wanted to get that piece and like we still kind of want to follow our game plan, I do think that Sutton is more important to the Broncos' success than Ken Walker is to the Seahawks' success.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I still feel like people are shaky on Ken Walker based on what we've seen the past few weeks.
Yeah.
He had a really good game last week. No. Against the 49ers, he had a good game, right?
Yeah, last week. Yeah. They both did.
Yeah.
Would you take Walker or would you take Nix to ensure you get him? I guess we also still have Darnold later if we want.
Yeah, I would take, based on ADP, I think it would be Walker because they're going to come back. I think both Nix and Sharps come back to us. So I think we do take Walker just on the ADP game.
Okay.
The RJ Harvey drafter is the only one we're worried about. And if they do take Bo Nix, whatever.
He's having a weird draft. He has 4 different teams so far. So he might just be going by ADP.
He's trying to figure out.
I have no idea what he's doing. Like, not a clue in the world. So this guy is Rams and Jags pretty strongly. This guy is cannibalizing himself with Niners and okay, so he
Oh,
takes
good luck.
Bo next.
Oh my lord. Okay,
That's kind of what I was afraid of,
fair
but
enough.
we still have Darnold, so again, it's not dead. We will need a second quarterback on this team, though, so we do need to keep that in mind.
I think, and you're gonna hate this. If we go Darnold, I think we do then pick late round Stroud.
I'm good with Stroud. I'm good with Herbert.
Herbert might be better, but
I mean,
we'll see.
Stroud might be nice simply because he probably gets 2 games, and Herbert most likely doesn't.
Yeah.
But Herbert probably scores more in week 1 than Stroud does if you just had to project it out.
Hello, Aquavision. Thanks for hanging in.
See, this is I like what the 6 hole is doing. Just got Allen, Shakir, Kincaid, has 2 Eagles to bring back. It's just a very clean bet. And now you just draft some advanced pieces, and then you grab Ty Johnson late or whatever.
Yeah. I'm not huge on drafting Bills outside of Allen and Cook, but
Same.
when the draft falls in your way that you think, yeah, I can believe in a Bills Super Bowl, it feels very powerful. Like having every piece of the Bills offense feels pretty good.
Okay, he just took Darnold. He has 3 quarterbacks.
Who is this? Let me see. Can I see this name? Unbelievable.
And Woody Marks is gone. So we can't even pivot to Houston.
Okay, so
Well, we can.
I think if we can slow down by taking Sharps, and then we can kind of like continue to look
we
at
have
this.
to take Stroud.
Yeah.
And then you play it as Houston meets Seattle in the Super Bowl. Because we have Nico. And then you've got 3 Seattle pieces.
I'm just trying to think if we take an NFC quarterback or not. I'm starting to think no.
I mean, I'm
Because
still okay with like a Caleb and Bear stack late just for points. Again, that guy going 3 quarterbacks kind of sinks this team, to be honest. So we're probably at a point where it's like this needs to just advance and get its money back.
Yeah.
Again, it's not dead. Like you can get a Houston Seattle Super Bowl. You know, Woody Marks is the piece that I could care less about out of the top 3 Houston players. And you have all of the main Seattle pieces. So we could just say this was the plan the whole time.
I think one pivot option is to go Caleb, Burden, Schultz as our last few pieces. And like as much as I do think Rome is probably going to be back and healthy and the most relevant pass catcher, I think Burden has that opportunity to continue to get 6 catches for 80 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah.
And when he's going this late, it's our best shot. Did Watson go yet? He just went, didn't he?
Yeah. But I mean, Jaden Reed's not horrible, especially with Wicks out. Burden already went, so yeah, I have no idea what this guy's doing.
This is it's not even like I'm trying to advance.
Literally not going
they took 2 QBs that aren't playing round 1.
Yeah. And a running back that isn't playing round 1. Like, I don't know what they're even trying to accomplish here.
All right, operation, are they going to field a team? That's what's going to happen here. They are.
I cannot wait for AJ Barner, Rashid Shaheed in round 9 and 10 and say somehow
it's going to be Evan. It's going to be Evan Ingram, Troy Franklin.
That would be
lock it in.
Hilarious.
Loveland.
Yeah.
So, okay. All right. So let's go Packer.
Well, Reed is also gone.
So what's gross is that Caleb. All right. So Caleb, to me, if we have to pick a quarterback with a higher ceiling, it's Caleb because he can actually run the ball into the end zone or at least scramble long enough. I don't think Jordan Love really does that. I think this is probably our stack if Rome is not here.
No. Oh, no, he is.
Okay.
Yeah. So, we'll do Caleb because one of Rome or more is likely to come back at least.
Man.
Yeah. Unfortunately, this is just how it goes, especially in like smaller dollar drafts where people just do weird stuff for the sake of it. Like sometimes you just have to completely 180. I feel decent about the running backs. Not amazing. We'll go Rome.
Yeah, I know. It's such a bummer.
But I mean, like, these are 3 alpha receivers, possibly 4 if you think Rome just eventually figures it out. Like, the problem is that 2 of them aren't playing in round 1. So we definitely need another receiver, even though I wish we could do another running back.
So did Schultz end up going?
No, he's here. All the Houston guys are still here again.
Oh, okay. Maybe Higgins instead.
That Moore is in play. I don't hate Strange for advancement. I don't hate Dobbs for advancement. We can't go Seahawk or Bronco because we need people that are playing.
That means you probably still have
Gadsden
McMillan available.
Do we have McMillan available? I don't think so. I think he went.
What?
Yep.
Wow.
9.5. I'm taking him a lot. Like, you have to get out of round 1 and like
they took Shaheed. I don't think they have OT. They have Higbee, Loveland, Lawrence.
Like, they don't even have a Super Bowl. They have at best
Adams. All right, so they do have a round 1 team, but it's only those players. So if anybody misses, we're just done here.
And Tyler Higbee has to score a lot of points.
Oh, he just got activated. Wow. Okay. Cool.
Okay, so we think Higgins over Schultz or Schultz for safety?
I would maybe Higgins. He probably just is better. I don't know. Schultz is good. I think Schultz is plenty fine. He's just a PPR guy, and in this format, I think it's half PPR, so it's not as tempting, at least in my mind.
That's fair.
And that way, we'll also have more exposure to Higgins. Not that we really want to, but it just has happened that way. So we can root for the same game.
So our Broncos Seahawks stack got upended for legitimately no reason, but whatever. So we're going to roll out CJ Stroud, Caleb Williams at quarterback, Trevion Henderson, and the 2 Seahawks running backs at running back. And then at wide receiver, hopefully we make it out of round 1 because we have a great team if we do. But at receiver, we have JSN, Nico Collins, Cortland Sutton, Roma Dunze, Jaden Higgins.
I realize now why you were very interested in running back is because we have our Henderson eggs, or all of our eggs in the Henderson basket, I should say.
Yeah. But I realized right as we were talking about it, that we have 2 great receivers on bye. So we absolutely had to make sure we had a 3rd receiver playing in week 1 to at least give us a chance of 2 good scores.
For what it's worth, this draft may have gone sideways very quickly. It's a good example of what happens when we try to aim for something like this and how fragile that roster ends up being because you were making sure you have to have 5 players in the first round and hope that no one else randomly breaks up your stack.
Yep. You good for more of these?
Absolutely. Let's dive back in and hope the 2 spot.
Yeah. We're still only at 96,000. I don't think it's going to overlay, but it honestly could. It's supposed to get to 112, and we've got, 3 hours? 2 hours?
Yeah.
4 hours? I'm not good at time.
3.5 hours, I think. 3 hours to 3:30. 4:30.
We get the 2-hole again.
All right, here we go. What different strategy do we think we can get into this 2-hole? Because not that we can't keep drafting the same team over and over again, because I think that's also a way to get a bunch of money. Yeah. That's right.
I've seen I drafted one this morning where someone took Allen at the 2 and Cook fell all the way back to him in the second because everyone was just sticking to their stacks. No one was going by ADP, so it's possible.
I like those lobbies because it really becomes a like, do you know ball type of lobby. Is your pick are your Super Bowl picks just better than everyone else's?
Yep. I also don't mind pulling him up to 2. Getting semi-unique.
That feels more of a safer bet to get Henderson on the back on the return.
Yeah.
But
also like
kind of
my counter is that you win by getting ridiculously good stacks, and Josh Allen at the 2 hole with James Cook falling all the way back is a ridiculously good stack.
Yeah. And that type of fall is like how you win.
Yeah.
I feel like I've never won, so I should know how to do that. But it feels like that's how you win.
So my thing is also, if we don't get Cook back, Allen is like probably the best possible advance piece quarterback out there because he's putting up a big score either way, and there's possibilities that they actually win the game in advance and continue to move forward. So McCaffrey going early is good. We'll see how this plays out. Because you could still, you could go Trevion, you could go ETN, could go Eagles, depending on if AJ Brown goes. So Cook goes at 4. That's fine.
I would, if possible, I would probably go Henderson. I don't know if I want to do ETN in the same game.
That's fair.
All right, so what happens if the Bills win? So the Bills win, we have to hope that the Chargers win, which does unfortunately mean we have to I guess it doesn't matter because I think the Texans are winning. I'm trying to figure out the bracket stuff for Josh Allen, and I do think they actually end up having the hardest schedule possible because say they beat the Jags, say Texans win, say Patriots win, Bills have to go play Broncos in Denver.
Any interest in Eagles?
I would absolutely be down in Eagles here. I would very much be interested in AJ Brown, and then pray Hurts comes back around.
Do you want to still take Henderson or just go AJ?
I would go AJ first. I think he's just a more, I don't know. I find him to be a little more reliable piece. And then
my problem is even if I took Devontae, I don't think Hurts comes all the way back around because I think the Hendo's still here though is the interesting thing. He's a major tier at running back for me.
Then I would say we do Henderson. Just give up the Eagles stack.
Okay.
Yeah, just give it the Eagles stack and just say, look, we're going to use AJ Brown as our advanced piece. Have Henderson be our explosive, high upside guy on the same side of the AFC bracket. Yeah. And then it's also kind of keeps us open for our Super Bowl team. We're not locked in too early.
Yep.
And you never know. I guess that the Saquon player is probably going to get Jalen.
Ramondre in 3rd. For what reason?
Yeah, ball knower. They get it.
Okay, this person's just drafting running backs for funsies. This person took Hurts unstacked. This is a
okay. Never mind. So nothing matters because it's just chaos. Yeah. All right, that May stakes. All right, that's a pretty good. I like what Team 6 is doing here.
See, I thought he was going to go Smith and Hurts if he got it back to him, but he didn't. I guess this guy just decided he's going to take Hurts and dare anyone else to take Devontae on the turn.
And they go, all right, we're going to take Devontae, and then they hope for Goddard to come back.
Yeah, which... Okay. How do we pivot out of this? Could be a Denver team.
Could be a Denver team, but we could go Jags again. Welcome back, Jags.
Yeah, we're down ETN, though.
I know, and I did say pass on Well, we didn't even get
It's the same guy. It feels familiar, but maybe it's not.
I don't think so. The other guy was, I thought, New York Jets fan.
Okay. Like, I still kind of want to take Devonta Smith. Or is he gone? Oh, he went.
He just went. He went
He
right
went.
before
Oh,
Harvey.
he went. Okay. So, what are we thinking? Could go Seahawks, could go Jags.
I think we kind of pivot to Jags. Like, I know we have a bunch of AFC pieces already, but at this point, it might just be worth trying to lock in this. Like we just said earlier, the 3 seed is primed to have the easiest run to the Super Bowl. So going Jags, going Myers and into Lawrence feels good. And then, we don't have a Jags running back, but that stinks. It is what it is. Yeah, so I think we just kind of I think we go Lawrence. And I know we could get the very last round Bayshall too. Hopefully he steals some red zone carries.
Yeah, because then you have basically all the Jags besides ETN, which doesn't feel great, but there are certainly outs where ETN is not the person you need. Like, if he gets injured in round 1, then you're just like, man, I wish I had any Tootin teams.
Yeah, and what really stinks is that we have 2 AFC QBs.
Yeah.
That
are playing each other.
I know. I do think, though, this has, just the way the draft has gone, has forced us into this.
Yeah. It's been kind of a wild draft.
And if we truly feel inclined, I feel like you can take an NFC QB, but that feels kind of wasteful.
No, your bet, because you can even just make the bet that one of the Bills or the Jags are getting there, and everyone else is just advancing you.
I would probably say that. Well, maybe that's too aggressive. That feels almost like a real betting line, kind of like storyline, is that the winner of this game has the highest chance to getting the Super Bowl.
Yeah. So, I'm fine tacking on, one Bill down here. Probably still building out 5 Jags, just because it's easier to build out, and Shakir is gone. Yeah. So,
as long as Kincaid or Knox, it feels so weird to draft Austin Knox, but he pretty sure he's scored in the past I
think DeAndre Swift is a must if he's there.
Yes.
It's an NFC running back. Playing Bears as well, just being I'm taking Bears is not terrible.
Not the worst. 5 Jags is the move. Honestly, I have tried to draft as many Jags as I can, namely Parker Washington. I've taken Parker Washington a few times, just unstacked.
Yeah.
Just because I think he's just that guy. I think that offense is so much better when they target him over Brian Thomas. Any dart throws we like? I've started to really come around on DK. I know that matchup sucks, but I like that dart throw. Quentin Johnston too is just one that I like. I can see it in my brain as a Pats fan. One big Quentin Johnston play kind of opens up everything, and then the game kind of goes as expected.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Is there other dart throws that we haven't really talked about that you like?
I
know you semi-like Shaheed.
Like is a strong word.
I know you can tolerate Shaheed if the stack demands it.
Weirdly, I think Kayshon Boutte is really interesting to me, because the Patriots have a decently conceivable pathway to winning the Super Bowl or getting to the Super Bowl. Everyone's just going to be it's Diggs, it's Henry. It's definitely Diggs. I don't think it's Henry. Henry's been very much he's fine and had a couple great games this year, but Boutte has kind of had the same. And when the Patriots are playing at their best, it's usually because they've hit a couple long bombs to Boutte. So he's kind of my favorite dart throw as far as even if I don't have any other Patriots, I'm fine just tacking him on, kind of like Alec Pierce in regular DFS and whatnot. It's just he's just going to catch 2 long bomb touchdowns.
And he gets you there.
Yep.
Very low commitment too.
We're gonna take Strange here, assuming we don't get sniped. If we get sniped, this team might be dead, but whatever.
I mean, there's a lot of things going on with this team that we might be just dead on arrival anyway. But that's fine.
Take Strange. Tootin should be our last round pick. Would be silly for someone to draft him.
Is Kincaid? Kincaid's gone. We could take, if we want to do something really wonky with the Bills, like we could take like Brandon Cooks.
Yeah, Metcalf was interesting. Loveland is interesting. Tet is still here. Or we just take Tootin to make sure this team's not dead and then see what comes back. But
I would prefer Loveland over Tetaroa. You know, their TE. Well, I don't think we need a tight end per se because we don't get a tight end slot.
Yeah, but as far as like pass catchers,
sure,
it's thin anyways. And he's probably outside of Burden is probably the bear you want regardless. Just
yeah, I mean, I just think Loveland is also just like elite. Well, I shouldn't go that far. It's been one season. I think he's very good. I think he's a very promising career ahead of him, and he looks to be a target earner in that offense.
It's very weird because there's a lot of folks who still have Tyler Warren over him, and I don't understand why. Like, Warren's good, absolutely, but like Loveland has like 4 career games better than Warren's best game already, and Loveland was a part-time tight end for like 60% of the season. Like Loveland just scores fantasy points and Warren just kind of doesn't.
I can see it. It's because Warren is, you know, I'm going to call him a more complete tight end than Loveland.
Yeah.
And so in theory, Warren's going to see the field more. And in that offense, he's needed a little more. Like that story I can tell myself for sure. But seeing the tape, oh my God, I'm shaking my desk so much. Loveland just looks better. He just looks more explosive. Warren feels more like a player that will play for a long time. Sorry, I'm staring at my baby monitor. Make sure he's not waking up. But yeah, thought it was DK. All good. I don't know. I have not done many DK drafts. Does that have a tight end slot? I guess.
Yep.
That would make sense. That's why
Jake's saying that. 2 extra rounds, and you have to start a tight end.
Woo. All right. Those teams must get wonky at 12 rounds.
Well, I mean, you take more tight ends just in general because of it. Like, you know, Gadsden is like way more drafted over there. Like a lot of the Rams pieces are drafted way more over there. But having the 12 rounds is really nice if you go in on some of these like very concentrated team bets. So like if I'm doing the Jags, for instance, like, and I'm feel comfortable, I'm only taking Lawrence as my only quarterback. I'm not going to take a second. You take your 6 Jags pretty evenly, and then the rest of it, you're just, you know, if you took Kittle early, that's great. You have Strange and Kittle, you're done. At tight end, you just load up on receivers because it's full PPR. You grab like 2 other running backs outside of ETN, and you feel really strongly about your teams.
Okay, I take that. Maybe, well, I have a couple hours. Maybe I'll do a couple on DK.
Yeah. So, final team. This one, it got wild. We had to pivot like 4 times. We've got Josh Allen and Trevor Lawrence at quarterback. Hope they just both go off in week 1 and that the Jags are the winners. At running back, you've got Trevion Henderson, DeAndre Swift, and Bayshal Tootin. At wide receiver, A.J. Brown, Jacoby Myers, Parker Washington, Brenton Strange, and Colston Loveland.
Man, like, sorry, I'm just looking at the other team that had Cook and Dalton Kincaid and just thinking like,
I know.
that feels like a weird bet, but I get it. If you look at those as, what's it called? Advanced pieces, that's not the worst. Just Kincaid doesn't feel as exciting as a piece to get you there than he does someone to be good at later on. Oh, thank you. We're trying. Trying. With Tim's guidance, we're able to narrowly dodge some tragic under the best ball rosters here.
Before we do any more best ball drafts, I do want to do an entry into our fantasy playoff contest before it locks.
Yeah.
So let me get that pulled up.
And to get here, make sure to head over to Fantasy Now Plus and then the fantasy playoff page. There's a link at the bottom of that page. Click it, it'll send you this Google Sheet and start filling out your team that way. And then the rest of the directions are luckily on that page.
Yep. But basically, to go through it, 13 roster positions, 14 teams are currently in the playoffs. You can take one player from every team. One team you will completely fade. $10 entry, multiple entries. If you are into the FFPC, this is a pretty similar format. Instead of a team defense, we do a super flex position. So you will conceivably start 2 quarterbacks if you want, or you can not in a super flex, but I wouldn't fully recommend that. And yeah, nothing special scoring or anything like that, just standard half PPR, I believe. So if you want to join, you still have time before the first game starts, before this locks. $10 entry, you can do as many entries as you want. First place gets, I think it's in here somewhere,
70%, I believe, of the pool.
I'm going to dox myself, but it's fine. Yeah, 75%. Second place gets 10%, third place 5%, and then we give 10% to charity for Extra Life. So, yeah. Obviously, once players are eliminated, they're not going to score points. So you want to layer your bets and layer your team how you want to do it. I will give you the first pick. Who would you like to go at quarterback?
There's a lot of good options. I mean, I think it's kind of one or two players. It's either Josh Allen or Drake May. I think John and Curtis, when they were doing their stream, kind of said the same thing.
Yeah.
I personally bias. Also, he's a second team All-Pro, so I would just pick Drake May here. The other quarterback I really like too is Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah,
who has been legitimately on fire. The reason why I'm a little less on Trevor in this format is because the other pieces are equally as exciting on the Jaguars team than they are on the Pats or the Bills. So talk myself into it. Maybe just hit Josh Allen first, because actually, yes, I'll do that, because we missed out on James Cook, which feels bad, but otherwise there's a lot of running backs that we can kind of do to replace that. That's kind of where my head is at in a very quick manner.
So, okay, it's 12, not 13. So you're fading 2 total teams. Okay. I'm going to go down to the super flex spot, and I'm going to do, well, okay. Let me talk this out.
Yeah.
Quarterback scoring is obviously in general higher than most fantasy players' points. That's why Superflex, you go with a quarterback. And following that train of thought, the way that I'm playing this contest is that you want your 2 Super Bowl players to be your 2 quarterbacks, because they are most likely to score the most points throughout the entirety of the contest. So I've built both of my lineups in this contest so far with one AFC and one NFC quarterback. I'm interested in Bo Nix because they're the 1 seed, and you can pretty easily conceive that none of their other fantasy players truly make a difference. Harvey is average, Dobbins is back, they're in a timeshare, Cortland Sutton gets to ride in the back seat while Troy Franklin has a good game, but no one picked him in this contest. Bo Nix, as the 1 seed, they are the favorites in the AFC to make the Super Bowl. Whether we believe that or not is up for debate, but it's also like not really the point of this contest, especially if you're doing multiple entries. You're kind of just playing for as many scenarios as you can think of. So like, I kind of want to go Bo Nix, but also if we're going to stick with Josh Allen, I would rather go with an NFC quarterback. So I want to know your thoughts on that line of thinking.
I didn't consider how unexciting the rest of the Broncos pieces are, because I think that does sway things quite a bit. And with the idea that you want to be, matching up QBs in the Super Bowl, I would definitely see, and I can see the path to have Bo Nix as our starting QB over Josh Allen for sure. And then also, once again, like, James Cook is like the main name, honestly, if I'm talking Bills.
It's
like,
the only name.
Right? Like, because that's the only one I think is really relevant outside of Josh Allen. So, like, going QB Bo Nix here and then super flexing an NFC QB, I like a lot. I do think that actually might be a better initial play. And I'm thinking now to some of my lineups where I certainly messed that up.
Not necessarily right, to be fair. Like, it could just be Puka for 4 weeks if the Rams make the Super Bowl. And it's like, who cares that Stafford was the quarterback? Puka scored 30, 36, 41, right, and 28. Like, who cares? But like, it's more likely to be a quarterback just with how averages work and how general regular fantasy scoring works. So that's how I've approached it. It's similar to how you would approach like the FFPC. They're a little different because Super Bowl points are doubled for your players. So you like really want a quarterback because you only have 2 players playing at that point anyways. So you like really want those scores to be quarterbacks. But here's a little less galaxy brain, but still kind of how I'm thinking about it. Since I kind of co-opted it, I'll let you. What NFC quarterback are you thinking if we do the Bo Nix option?
I want to pick Jalen Hurts. I just simply cannot.
Okay.
For the reasons that we want the other pieces more. I do think like Saquon and AJ Brown might be more valuable to us in this regard.
Yeah.
Like, this then points me to someone like, oh my God, is it just Stafford?
Could be
Maybe.
Stafford
or Caleb would be my main two. Like, I know Caleb is, we've said it all year, and if you've watched Get Tilted, we're so 50-50 on Caleb, considering how you have to wait 3 quarters for him to finally do something.
Yeah.
And it's frustrating. And it will certainly be the same case tonight against the Packers.
Yeah.
So kind of like put that in the back of your mind. The other option here is just to go Jalen. Just go Jalen Hurts. Just believe in the fact that the Eagles will get there, play for a very, very long time, and, do enough. I know Brock Purdy, I want to, but I can't. Sam Darnold, I can't, because I want JSN and I want CMC. So, like.
Yeah, but if you think, well, I would say for Seattle, I would probably, even if I think they're making the Super Bowl, I think I would want JSN over Darnold. Yeah. Yeah, that's what made it tough for me in this, because it's basically down to like, it's probably Stafford or it's probably Hurts. And so then I start to wonder, okay, maybe what if that's not the optimal strategy then? Because there's so few NFC quarterbacks where that even feels good.
Yeah, like
we
picking Jordan Love is probably the last one I'll shoot out, because I'm not playing any of the wide receivers on the Packers.
Yeah.
I'm half the time playing Josh Jacobs.
Yeah.
And even then, I'm a little skeptical. So, like, just putting out a QB who will have to throw up points. Like, if I believe that the Bears are going to put up a lot of points on the Packers, Jordan Love has to. And if he doesn't, it just doesn't matter. Then, they're losing anyway.
Yep.
So, man, I don't know. I'm tempted, not to drag this out too long, because I know we can do another draft. I'm tempted to say if we just slam Jalen Hurts here and then see where the rest of the roster goes. If we hate it, then come back, switch this, play some other Eagles, and just revisit.
That's I've done a very similar lineup to this as one of them. I think I had a different AFC quarterback, but I kind of just always end up falling on Hurts because it's like, yes, there's 4 other Eagles that could score fantasy points, but it's usually only going to be one of them in any given game and Hurts. But the common denominator is that it's always Hurts.
Right.
Because the tush push, the rushing equity, especially if they're like going to just pull a Kansas City Chiefs and just flip a switch and be like, okay, we're going to try now. It's playoff time.
I can see it. I can see it.
Yeah. I like going Hurts. I think it's a good way to play the Eagles. I think Bo Nix is a good way to play the Broncos, especially because both of their offenses, even though they have star players, they don't really use them the way they should. So my turn, I'm just going to take James Cook. Nice and simple. He's the only other Bill. You can consider Dalton Kincaid. You do have to fill a tight end spot, but there's other tight ends I like more, or equally at least, and there's not many running backs I like equally or more than James Cook.
Yeah. No other notes. I think James Cook is just a slam, just a lock.
Who do you want at running back?
So do I have a Patriots yet? Like, I think this ends up being Trevion.
Don't want to go Ramondre, the real RB1?
Look, I have a ton of exposure to Ramondre because I kind of believe that exactly that. This is going to be, let's just pound the rock with Ramondre and just like get out of round one. I do think Trevion Henderson is probably just like exactly what we think. He's just the big play guy. He can do it. Like he doesn't even need 15 touches. He just needs 10. He even needs 5, whatever. Like, I just think if we are now stuck with like less Patriot players, I think Henderson's probably the most explosive and the guy who can definitely like win your slate. I don't know. I forget how this advancement even works. I think it's just total points at the end.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So, yeah, if it's the total points, give me the guy that can put up 40.
Yep. Can I interest you in Devontae Adams over Puka?
You may.
Okay.
Because that's a piece, as we're talking about kind of differentiating pieces.
Yep.
That is certainly one that will get 5 catches, 5 yards, and 5 touchdowns.
Yep. Yeah, like, is he live to outscore Puka in most scenarios? No. Is he live to outscore him in some scenarios? Absolutely. And that's all you're looking for. Like, it's not like we're going from Puka to Colby Parkinson. Like, Devontae Adams is still an elite wide receiver. He can still score a lot of points any given week, even if he's not getting fed the goal line touchdowns like he has been, which could just go away because it doesn't really matter for any type of regular season awards now or any type of regular season records. So could just go back to like running a regular offense around the goal line and actually like hand the ball to Kyron at some point. But Adams is still plenty talented. They have a nice squishy matchup in round 1, and they have interesting matchups lined up in round 2 with whoever they end up facing.
Yeah, and he's been resting for the past 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Despite him being older, like that is exactly what you want heading into the playoffs.
Yep. Full practices like all week, I'm pretty sure. So I think he's just like really completely ready to go.
Yep. I'll make this one easy. I will say Jackson Smith and Jigba.
Scroll time.
I don't think there's really I don't think there's a roster where you can't have him.
Yeah. I think if you go Darnold, that's like the only other way, but like that doesn't feel fun.
I mean, I was gonna say the other way. I think if you go like Sharps or Walker, like if you feel like their path is to get it out of Darnold's hand and into the running backs, that is a scenario where you're like, no, give me the Charbonnet or Ken Walker side, and then have them assume they're gonna get 20 touches and 100 yards and a touchdown every game, because that is like something that could happen if like the coaching staff really does believe that Sam is gonna, like, I don't know, what is there worse than Pumpkin? Is there a level below, giving that up? Like,
I don't
because
know.
I don't think
one of those.
I don't want to believe that he'll completely collapse like he did last year.
Yeah.
But the signs are pointing to it happening. The last few weeks have not been kind to Sam Darnold.
Nope. Not been kind. I mean, we know what Sam Darnold is. If you keep him clean, if you give him time, if your running game is working, he's fine as a quarterback. If any of those things is not true, he's not fine as a quarterback, and you're hanging on for dear life. So the playoffs are not exactly conducive to everything working. So
yeah,
time will tell.
All right, who's your wide receiver 3?
That's a very good question. See, so we took Nick's. I kind of want to go Christian Watson.
I knew it. I knew you paused for half a second, and I was going to say, hey, look, if you want points, if you want high-scoring points, can I interest you in the wide receiver 1 on the Green Bay Packers? And
yeah,
actually, let me check the last time they played the Bears.
Well, they played them like twice in the past month, so they're very.
And the first time they played, he did torch the Bears, but then the second time, I think the Bears held them off.
Second time was Christmas, or was that the first time? Well, because the second time was Caleb with the miraculous thing to DJ Moore. I think. So I think Christmas was that was Christmas.
Last time they played, oh, that's right. It was like Malik Willis came in and was semi-dealing.
That's right.
And then Christian Watson was pretty irrelevant. He had 6 targets, but he only had 2 catches the second time around. So with Jordan Love, that script should be flipped.
Yep. It's not snowing in Chicago, right? It's like probably just cold and windy.
Let's find out. Oh, God. I just typed in weather. I don't know. Just assuming, you know what I'm talking about. It is light rain and snow currently, and later in the day, it should be drier. It looks like it'll be dry tonight.
Okay, so field should be clean. Won't have weather imminent during the game, so should be okay. I don't feel good about Josh Jacobs. He's just so banged up, and he's just not been good while he's been injured. So he projects well on paper. I know you probably should play him, but every time I see him, I'm just like, ugh. I consider just not having a Packer in this lineup entirely, and them being one of the 2 teams I fade, because I do think the Bears beat them personally. The only piece that was truly keeping that Packers defense together is Micah Parsons, and he's gone. So I don't know. I think the Bears could just steamroll them, to be honest, with Ben Johnson having time to plan and time to implement exactly what he wants to implement with a pretty much fully healthy team.
That is what I'm most excited about. I can also say Ben Johnson just getting absolutely in his bag for no reason.
Yep.
First play, hook and ladder, but it's also a pitch back to Caleb Williams,
Yep. End around to Luther Burden for 80 yards. Everything's on the table with the Bears. That's why we liked them for fantasy before the season, and it kind of came to fruition, even though it wasn't quite as dominant as everyone would have hoped, but it was pretty good, all things considered. Who do you want at tight end?
Tight end, George Kittle.
Okay. No CMC in this lineup.
Which is bad. It feels bad. And I thought about that earlier, but I will say the other option here would be, maybe that's not true. No, I think it's got to be Kittle.
I think it's good to differentiate, because I would imagine about 90% of the teams in our contest went with CMC. So he's not going to have a bad game, but if Kittle also has a good game, that could be a differentiator, especially if they're eliminated and you only have 1 score from each of them to choose from.
Exactly. And I'm looking around at different options. Dalton Schultz is an option. Meh. I mainly because I want to play Nico in one of these flexes.
Sure.
do you want to gamble on the Pittsburgh guys? No. Like, Goddard is an option, but I also kind of want to play Jalen Hurts instead. Kincaid can't play. Strange, maybe. But
yeah. I think the way that you tell yourself the 49ers story to fade CMC is just that they get the brakes blown off of them by the Eagles, which is kind of what we're saying is happening because we have Jalen Hurts in the Superflex. Like, you know, obviously CMC has 35, 40-point potential, but if he does that, there's a chance the 49ers win that game. And like, that's a completely different bet than what we're making. So I think it's smart if you're gonna play the way that we're doing it, where the two quarterbacks we have are predicted Super Bowl quarterbacks. That means the 49ers are definitely losing. You get one score out of them. You take George Kittle. You hope that he has the best single week of any tight end on the slate, and everyone else is scoring 8, 10. He gives you 25. It takes everyone else 2 to 3 weeks to even get up to the same amount of points as him.
Like, I dig that. I think that's kind of a very possible, reality.
I'm gonna go Travis Etienne for the Jags. I think, again, this is the highest point total in the first week between Jags and Bills. I think there are some lineups. I think there is absolutely a world where you just don't take a Bill in this contest, which is a very unpopular opinion, but there's only 2 players that even score fantasy points for them. And if they lose, it's probably not, neither of them probably put up a good enough score that you're like, man, I wish I had them. Like, they could easily both put up 20, and it's like, okay, there's 6 other guys that could also just put up 20 in a loss. So like, I think fading the Bills is one fun option, but if you're going to take James Cook, I think you also want ETN, assuming either of them, like one of them is going to advance and get you multiple good weeks. The other one is more likely to be running well. So I like ETN here.
Yeah. No further analysis. I think that's just kind of just hitting the nail on the head. He's just going to, like, they need him to do stuff to win this game. So
yeah, I'd say oh, that's annoying. When you do it on your phone, it grays out the players you can't pick.
Oh, I didn't know that. I've only been doing it on the desktop and having to remind myself who to pick for kicker.
So we've got 2 positions left, and we're fading 2 teams. So the 4 teams left are
it should be Chargers, Panthers, Steelers,
and
Bears.
Okay. Any preference on who we're fading in this?
I would fade probably Chargers and Panthers.
Okay. So
we're going to play 1 week.
Yeah. So we're going to take a Steeler and a Bear.
So what I've done is I just pick Boswell as my kicker.
Okay.
And so that way I'm not really hurt if the Steelers do lose.
Yeah.
And then in the flex, I think it's either Swift or Burden. I mean, there's the other option of picking Rico.
Rico is
dangerous.
It's, I guess for me, it's like, if you're going to fade the Bears, you would probably want to take Josh Jacobs at that point, wouldn't you? Because you're assuming the Packers win, and it's on the backs of Josh Jacobs. It doesn't have to be. Like, it could be Watson. It's just Watson, to me, has a much more of like what happened with Malik Willis, where he had 6 targets, 2 catches, and you're like, well, I got 4 points. Sick. Josh Jacobs. So as much as I would love to go Rico, because I think like no one takes Rico in this, even in like the big FFPC tournament, like most people are taking Tet if they're taking a Panther at all. I think we should probably take Swift here. I wouldn't hate Manungai either.
Ooh. Yeah, I mean, you know me. I will take Manungai every day of the week if given the option. If I truly want to have a different player who I think can sneak up and steal some touchdowns, like Manungai is the guy.
Yeah.
In this contest, how crazy do we want to get with that is the only thing I can think of.
I mean, we've gone weird, but we haven't gone like off the wall weird. Like obviously Adams over Puka is different, but it's not impossible. Watson over Jacobs is different, but it's very plausible. Kittle over CMC is kind of a different bet. It's more of just like the scarcity of talent at the tight end position. Because like the switch on this is you play Loveland at tight end and you play CMC in the flex, but like that's probably what most people do. So if you want to win, especially if as more and more people join, if you again folks, if you want to join this, go to fantasynowplus.com, fantasy playoffs. You will find all the info there for that. Still have a few hours to get that locked in, just $10 per entry. But you know, even if there's say 20 teams in this contest, like the odds that 19 of them have CMC is pretty high. Like,
Yeah, I would be pretty confident that he is a 80% or higher.
I think I have him in my 2 teams I've submitted. So, like, I think going Kittle is the move, even though Loveland and CMC feels better from a projection, but it's also about like you need to differentiate yourself a little bit. The worst possible thing that can happen is getting duped.
You know, I will say this. Why not double up tight end?
Yeah, you could.
We don't hate Loveland. Well. I do think Swift is a better play, but it's fun to theorycraft that a little bit because Loveland is someone who's getting 5 to 6 targets a game.
Can you pull up Swift and Manungai's game logs for like the past couple of months?
Of course I can.
I don't feel like Swift has been good. And Manungai has been semi relegated with Swift healthy, but I don't think like either of them are like, wow, they're smashing. Although what is funny is that the last time both of them played well was, I'm pretty sure, against the Packers, where they both rushed for over 100 yards.
Let's see if I can split screen the two of them here. All right. So, wow. Manungai has 170 carries. That's crazy to me. He's 700. He almost has 800 yards. Yeah. The 6th-round undrafted rookie. So the past 3 games we have, that's 32 carries for Swift, and that's 24 carries for Manungai. They're still kind of split.
Yeah.
The difference is Manungai has more targets. That's absurd. Manungai has 9 targets versus Swift's 7 in the past 3 games.
Yeah, like they kind of just stopped using Swift as like the pure pass catcher, early down, 3rd down, and it's kind of just like a true who's playing better split, it feels like.
It really is just who do you think they trust in that moment? And that is a hard bet to make because looking at like Swift probably has like, I wish I had snaps. I can go find it on PFF, but it's going to be a minute before I can do the real math with all that.
Yeah.
But like Swift is getting the majority of snaps. And I say that unchecked, unfact checked, but with my eyeballs and kind of seeing how things are going.
Yeah.
Like, Swift is number 1, Manungai 1B. So like it's up to you to think, all right, I think the game script is going to be like this. I think I think the Bears are up by a bunch. Say they're up 14-0 at the end of the half, and they want to just put the game away at home. That's when they go, all right, my young guy, get in there, hold on to the ball, and like grind the clock, and then hopefully he springs one for like 20 yards and a touchdown. That is the path to pick Manungai over Swift, I feel like. Otherwise, any other game script, it's going to be Swift.
Because playing it out, they would face the Eagles in round 2, assuming both high seeds win. They already faced the Eagles this season.
And they smacked the Eagles.
Yeah. How'd the running backs do in that game?
They both had 100 yards.
That's the game they both had 100. I thought it was
which was like the true shocker of the season was just the pure like obliteration. Manungai had 130 in that game. I think Swift had 100. Let me see. Swift had. I hope. Can you still hear me if I'm looking like this and talking? I have no idea if I sound worse or better. Okay. Swift had 125. Manungai had 130. Both of them had a touchdown.
Yeah.
Swift averaged 7 yards a carry. Manungai averaged 6 yards a carry.
Yeah. So I think they both broke a big one each. I kind of
31 for Manungai, 23 for Swift.
I feel like it's like the Charbonnet Walker discussion of just like both of them can get there. It's kind of a 50-50 coin toss, and like I feel like everyone's gonna go Swift. Just they're like, oh yeah, that's comfy.
Yes.
But, like, I feel like Manungai just
lock them in.
Like Manungai's probably the goal line back, like in the playoffs. Like they're probably not going to put 195, 200-pound DeAndre Swift in there to try and stuff it in against either the Packers or the Eagles or whoever. It's probably going to be 220-plus pound Kyle Manungai, who they've worked up all season. I think they trust pretty fully now. Like, I think that's how we're going to do it.
I think that's how that one. I think that's how we should do it. Yeah. While we're kind of like locking this in, I just want to look up the red zone, like plays inside the 5 for the Bears, because I feel like this isn't a team that really made it to the 5-yard line that much. I feel like they scored a lot from like 20 yards out.
Well, and that's the thing that was frustrating for me as a Caleb manager is when they do get inside the 5, it is nothing but running backs.
Yeah.
Like, I think Caleb maybe has like 4 pass attempts all season inside the 5. Like, it's insane. They don't trust him at all to throw on the goal line. It is purely just, please God, get us in there, running backs.
Yeah. I don't blame him.
I don't either. Folks, we will probably do a couple more underdog drafts after this, I promise. Just wanted to promote this, talk through it. It's a fun contest. If you haven't joined, I think you should join. I'm going to go ahead and submit this sucker. I will send money to Justin later.
You'll get my money when it gets to you. Yeah, I have no idea how to find this, so I'll save that for an off-season research paper. I'm sure PFF has it. I'm sure Fantasy Points are a couple other of the really not high level, the other way, really in-depth websites have it somewhere.
Yeah.
But for now, we're just goofing on some mitten 3.
Yep. Still have almost 13,000 vacancies here, so I think it's going to overlay a little bit. We'll see.
So for my own brain, when you say overlay, what does that mean?
It doesn't fill entirely before the contest closes. So when that happens, you technically have a slightly better chance of, because they didn't get all of their they do the math in a way where all the numbers perfectly pair down after every round. So when that doesn't happen, they have to start grabbing some third place teams from existing pods and then advancing them. So basically it's, if there's overlay, you want to aim for it because you don't have to get as perfectly in the first round as possible. If you just have a really good team that happened to be third in your pod, that might go through because they do it on total points out of all the third place teams. So you want to aim for overlay, especially as you draft in more higher numbers. Obviously, I've done 5 entries into this, so overlay doesn't really apply to me. But if you're going to draft 150, like this is a great time to do it if you can get all of them in. If you've already been like grinding away at it today. Hopefully it doesn't do the location thing to me. It did not. Sweet.
150 entries feels like a full-time job if you're not just autopiloting half of them.
For some people, it kind of is. Like,
I guess that's true. There's a lot of just
hashtag goals, but
soon, maybe next year if you keep signing up for an Underdog, get 5, get 75 promo. They'll be us soon.
Yep. But yeah, I mean, there's content creators, there's people that don't create content but consume tons of it that just draft all day and like, they have like a nice, easy job that pays a lot of money, or they are living off winnings or retirements or whatever. There's plenty of ways you can get to that point. But we thankfully did not get the 2-hole again.
Ooh, we got the 6 spot. That is a fun one because this gives us the double up on Allen, May, the Eagle stack.
Yep.
A lot of the classics.
Yep. Love the back end of the board way more than the front end of the board. But yeah, I think, there's a lot of folks that will put fifth. I don't know the exact math on it, like somewhere in the 30 to 50 grand into all these drafts throughout the year type of thing. Like, if you win $1 million, you can do that, 50 times without ever having to enter any money in again. Like, there are plenty of folks who can do it. Shout out to them. Allen goes. I kind of hope James Cook goes here. Or Ram. Oh, buddy. Do you want to do CMC May?
More than anything.
Okay. Because if we don't get Henderson back, who cares? We have CMC.
I'm in on this. I'd be pretty shocked if someone picked. Well, maybe it's not that shocking. Because Henderson is a pretty highly drafted player.
Yeah, he has to get all the way back to 18.
Yeah, it's not happening.
Never say never, but it is not Nico. It is less likely. But even still, you've got Kittle. They'll have Diggs most likely.
Like if we miss Henderson, I think a Diggs Kittle follow up is like
fantastic,
pretty exciting. And then someone is gonna have to just take Brock Purdy naked, and that feels like they just threw away $5.
Yep.
I mean, I guess they could pick Juwan, but then we just picked Juwan afterwards. But we'll see.
This would be one of the very, very rare teams where I would be totally fine going 5 Niners and 5 Patriots if we get Henderson.
I've done this once or twice, maybe not with the pass, but with the Jags, full Jags, full Niners.
Dude, I just did.
It is a risky bet, but I kind of dig it because like the upside is so high.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to have a few rosters like that. For those who don't know, which is me, what round do you have to progress to get cash back? And I know it depends on contest, but
37,500. So just round 2.
Okay.
You get $3 back for round 2. You get $10 back for round 3. So you technically double your money. And then anything into the top 750. Actually, I don't think 750 is even the finals. Yeah, it's 375 is the finals. So
wow. Okay.
You get 250 just for making the finals. You get 100 for almost making it. So Kittle goes. He's going to take Henderson, isn't he? Diggs and Ramondre is not the end of the world.
Yeah, that seems fine.
Yeah. Was close.
All right.
It's okay. You got to play for it.
Yeah.
And then I know Ramondre is reaching a bit, but you definitely want one of those two if you're going to play out a Patriots Super Bowl. And he goes wildly high compared to everyone else. So unfortunately, you just kind of have to reach for him, even though he is the RB2 of his team or RBA 1B, whatever.
And watching some other streams of best ball, like I have completely agreed with the idea that reaching is fine. Reaching for your stack is 100% a-okay.
Yep.
Like, especially if it's a favored team, go for it.
Yep. So we've got pretty much 3 of the 4 main Patriots. You're fading Trevion, which doesn't feel fantastic, but is not the most unlikely scenario ever. I mean, frankly, Mike Vrabel does very silly things with his run game, so I would not at all be shocked if he's just like, I'm going to lean on Ramondre in the playoffs for reasons unknown.
Well, we were talking about Monunga. Oh, I forgot that. Wait, what? So, all right. So we were talking about Monunga and Swift, and I was pulling up the stats for Henderson and Stevenson, and me thinking, like Stevenson's probably still the leading rusher despite Henderson's success. Nope, Stevenson is behind by 300 yards. And, I forgot that Henderson played all 17. Stevenson missed 3 games. Yeah, Henderson 900 yards, 9 touchdowns. Yeah, that makes okay. I get it now.
Yeah, but honestly, like, especially lately, like everyone's like, wow, Ramondre's crushing. He's not running the ball that much. Like Henderson's like doubled him in carries the last 3 or 4 weeks. He's just getting there on receiving touchdowns on accident more than anything.
Like the disconnect between the real life football of Henderson and then what we want Henderson to be, between Stevenson, his fantasy perception and his real life perception are very different because Stevenson is just a grinder who is very important to his offense that really feels bad to look on the screen. You see Stevenson is in and not Henderson because we know what Henderson can do. But you're right. Last week it was 13 for Henderson to 7 for Stevenson.
Yeah.
Week before it was 19 to 8.
So hear me out.
All right, I'm hearing you.
Josh Jacobs fell. Could go Jacobs, CM, and Watson, and push Henry.
This is fine with me. I think, like, even the last time I hopped on into the stream, like we were pretty high on Jacobs just as an advanced piece. I think that nothing has changed here.
Yeah.
I think like that is just a solid player that, despite him feeling bad, and we were kind of talking down on him moments ago in the playoff fantasy thing. I think this is so much different than having just one player from one team. Like, I think it's very much still worth grabbing him here.
Especially with Patriots receivers, like you can still get Booty later. You can get Kyle Williams. If you have to go all the way down to Pop Douglas or Austin Hooper, it's not like the end of the world.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, Jacobs falling. Watson also being there, maybe in this situation, we're hoping that either the Niners or the Packers can upset and advance into round 2. Even if they don't, you still, like we can still tack on a couple more NFC advance rate pieces at the end here. We only need 2 more Patriots. We have more than 2 rounds remaining. So I like it. I think it's very important, even in a contest where ADP doesn't matter that much, you still want to take ADP fallers when you get them, especially if they make sense for the context of your team. ADP, there's been a lot of studies. ADP just tends to be right for the most part. Like, obviously, there are players that just are fully wrong, but like, that's not usually because they were drafted too high. It's because they got injured. So no matter where you drafted them, it was too high. Or like BTJ was just wrong this year, absolutely. But most of the time, it's simply like we can pretty easily as a market identify who's going to get a lot of targets, who's going to get a lot of rushes, who's going to have the opportunity to score the most fantasy points, and we tend to rank them pretty well. The only thing that changes, what do you think of Henry and Burden?
I will take Luther Burden. Like, that feels pretty good. Yeah, I like obviously Henry to get our I got our fourth.
Yeah.
Why am I not mathing? Our 4th Pat, and then Bird. I think Burden's just a good piece to bet alongside the Packers.
Yeah, because either you advance 2 pieces and you feel great, or you advance at least 1 receiver that's not a backup Patriots receiver. Again, we talked about it with the Jags, but the Patriots are in a similar situation where they're probably going to blow the socks off of the Chargers in round 1, and then they're most likely facing either the Bills or the Jaguars, unless something really wonky happens. Yeah. So it's going to be another high total game, high offense potential game for New England either way.
Like, points have to be scored, and I do think like that is why a lot of people are in on the Pats right now.
Yep. And this is one of those teams where it's like you're making the bet on the Patriots. I'm not taking another quarterback. The bet is Drake May is carrying them on his back the whole way there. They're scoring 24 plus points every single round. There's no reason to take a random, even though we do have multiple Packers. Like Jordan Love, like what does he truly do for this team? Probably nothing.
Nothing.
So who do you like out of these 3 Patriots?
It's Booty.
Okay.
Pop is fine. He hasn't really done much recently. Like how much that changes in the playoffs will be the bet that people have to make. Like, will he be a little more used? Like, he hasn't really been wildly reliable throughout the season, which has been off character for him. But there's a path. I do think Kyle Williams is just like, I don't know, even crazier lotto ticket for you to have. 4 RB. I would definitely take Booty, and then
got more Rome. It's kind of it. Like, receivers pretty dry. I would almost we could do Manungai and just say that we're getting 2 Packers or 2 Bears to round 2.
I like that, or I'd pick Caleb. I think those were the 2 options I take. And then because we took Burden, like, be happy with taking Caleb and see if he gets there. Like, we just had a whole talk about Manungai. I think it's only fitting that we just go with it.
Yep.
And stick around.
Yeah. And again, like, we could have gone Caleb, but we don't really need Caleb on this team. The whole bet is that Drake May is the MVP of the league, or at least should be, and the offense runs through him. he's going to carry. It's basically just like a miniature Josh Allen bet, but the pieces are less gross than the Bills.
And I'm all for it.
Shocker. So final roster, Drake May is the only quarterback. We get Christian McCaffrey all the way at the 1-2 turn. Ramondre Stevenson, Josh Jacobs, 9 picks past ADP. Kyle Monangai. Then a receiving core of 3 Patriots with Diggs, Hunter Henry, and Kayshon Boutte. And then hopefully in round 2, we'll see which one advances, but we're going to get one of Christian Watson and Luther Burden. Hopefully they both go off in round 1.
No notes. I think this is a perfect draft. And we can.
I mean, I was taking McCaffrey at 2 for a large part of this contest.
McCaffrey at 6 is pretty absurd.
Like, I understand they could be blown out by the Eagles. I really do. But, like, will they? It's the Eagles. Like, they have been god-awful as far as, like, they do not put their foot on anyone's necks. At least in the regular season, they did not.
And they've been bailed out a few times, being special teams fiascos or, defensive stops or something like that.
Like, their defense is elite, absolutely. But so is San Francisco's offense, and that's the only healthy part of their team at this point. I think Trent Williams is playing.
I think he was limited.
Okay. Even if not, like, it's Kyle Shanahan. Like, I trust his ability to scheme a team into victories more than just about any play caller in football outside of Sean McVay. Like, CMC is still elite. George Kittle is elite. They have Jennings as a solid receiver. If Pearsall is out, but I think Kendrick Bourne is a perfectly fine, like, 4th option on this team. Brock Purdy is a actually good quarterback. You know, the Eagles, this is not last year's Eagles. They're not just going to push you to death and Saquon you to death. Like, they just can't this year. They're still going to try, but I don't know if they actually can do it. So, like, I have drafted multiple teams where I'm just like, yeah, I think the 49ers just flat out beat the Eagles.
And you gotta. I do think to give yourself the best range of outcomes, you have to tell, like, and it's an easy story to tell yourself.
Yep.
So I'm in. Like, I have a bunch of 49ers teams. I have a couple of 49ers Patriots teams. So, like, this is not an uncommon draft that you'd see my username click through.
Yeah.
This is it for me. If you're going to do another draft, I do have to bounce. Okay. But thank you so much for having me on. It's been a blast. And I might have to go rip a couple drafts off stream here to make sure I get in on some more mitten action.
Yep. There's 54 minutes left in this contest, folks. It closes at 12:30 Pacific, 2:30 Eastern. So get your picks in now. I think that's going to do it for me as well. We've been going for 2 hours solid. So greatly appreciate everyone who joined in. We appreciate it.
Thank you, John.
Yeah, really, really enjoy doing this. There's going to be a lot more best ball streams this summer. Keep your eyes peeled. I will be on most of them. I'm sure Brian will be fighting to be on as many of them as he can.
Yes, I will.
I have inflicted him with the bug, so there is unfortunately no going back. I can confirm. Once you start, you never stop. So thanks again to Finn's Talk Sports Network, Fantasy Now Plus. We will see y'all later. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the playoffs. And yeah, be safe out there.
Best of luck.
Thanks for listening. Be sure to like and subscribe wherever you watch or listen to podcasts. We'll be back next week for more ways to win your league.